Well folks, I'm out on the CFMoto 450 MT. Just taking up to my little track that's relatively close by, where I give things a little bit of a go on the dirt. Looking a bit wet. Try that traction control. Yep, off-road mode. So I haven't been along this yet for a while. Could be a bit hairy. I'm going to go pretty easy because I don't have my crash bars on yet. I also supposed to keep the revs below, 4,000. And I'm on the stock tyres. We're a bit and full road pressures. But I thought I'd go for a little ride along here, just check it out. Also give you a bit of a comparison to what I feel compared to the Honda Rally that I had before, because it's very interesting. I mean, on the road, this bike is just so much better. I mean, it's a parallel twin for a start, as opposed to the single. It's got 44 horsepower roughly, compared to I think 29 of the Rally. So it's got plenty more horsepower, plenty more torque. It's smoother. It's slow speed. People have been saying how the throttle's snatchy on this, and yeah, look, it actually might be, but it's still better than the Honda 300, being that single cylinder. I find that low revs on that really awkward. If you do any slow riding on the Honda, you really feel it. The snatchy. It's hard to maintain a smooth sort of rhythm. But this is just, smooth as silk. Pushing it around the garage, I find this the same, if not easier than what the Honda was. And you've got to remember, this is a heavier bike than what the Rally is. But it's twin cylinder engines. Their weight's in the engine, and that's down low, so that's going to account for that. The suspension in this is way better than the stock 300 Honda. I never got a chance to do the suspension up on the Rally, so I can only compare it to the stock suspension. I have to be careful because another car came this way before, so I'm expecting to see it on the return. Standing up, this is better. I feel the cockpit, the seating position is way more open and more room to move than the Honda. So standing up, I feel it's just more comfortable. I was a bit slippery back there. And the Honda, I didn't do much to it. I put protection on it, etc. But I didn't do anything with the engine and or the suspension. So I'm comparing it to a stock one. But if I was to build the Rally up to this, I'd be spending at least $4,000 putting it into it. I'm just going to pull up and let that car get a little bit ahead. It's I'd have to spend probably $4,000, I think, and maybe $5,000 if you include a nice seat in it, because the seat on the Honda's pretty ordinary. Just no shape to it. It was giving me a lot of pain in my bum and lower back. It just was not suited to it at all. And could get another seat. The seat concepts, whole seat's like $700 or $800. You can get the cover only for cheaper, but I think it's still $300 or $400. The CFMoto can get a whole new higher seat for $200. So, the suspension on this out of the box is just far superior. And I haven't really played with the settings yet. I haven't gone down that road. Just kept it stock. Only picked it up like yesterday, the day before. You know, throwing it around, it feels good. Yeah, no doubt I need to work to fine-tune the suspension. It's not my strongest point, adjusting suspension. But, you know, even if I did nothing to it, it's better. And that torque, you know, just from the bottom end, like that is just, compared to the Rally, that's insane, you know, when you slow down. Just give it a bit, you know. You know, I just think if you know, yeah, if you've got one already, that's one thing. But if you're looking at buying a Honda, I don't know why you would actually. I mean, I suppose if you're doing really well, I suppose if you're doing serious off-road, you wouldn't be buying a Honda 300 anyway. You can get a KTM 350 or something along those lines. So if you're doing this sort of thing, I really do feel this is a far superior bike. Not just for the money, just far superior, you know. And if you have to do any stint on the bitumen, man, you're going to feel better on this than the Honda, that's for sure. And I'm not even talking at freeway speeds, I'm just talking any bitumen, you know. I felt that the Honda's a good platform for modification. You've got to throw money at it. And at the end of the day, you've got to say to yourself, well, if I throw all that money at it, am I still going to be happy with a 29 horsepower 300cc single, you know? That's the bottom line. Yeah, that's pretty good. And it sounds so good. Yeah, I think I need to work on that suspension. It's a little bit on the firm side, I think, at the moment. There you go. First run through that track. So, you know, doing a slow U-turn like this, you know, no feet on the ground, just cruising around. That was painful on the Honda, absolutely painful. With this, I mean, in lots of ways, you know, it feels like my Versys 300 in seating position, though I think it's a bit more spaced out than that. It's got that parallel twin engine like the Versys. You know, I love the little Versys. It just lacks the ground clearance, suspension travel, and that 21-inch front reel, the switchable ABS. Actually, it lacks a lot of things, but for what the Versys was designed to do, you know, it really is an excellent bike. I mean, those who follow my channel, see, I've just got back from a 2-week, something like 7,000 kilometre trip up to Cairns, the Gulf, to Corumbra, and then back down through central Queensland. You know, it's a great little bike for that. And maybe one day, you know, this will replace that too. I'm actually sort of fairly confident that it probably will. You know, my Versys is 6 years old. It's got 60,000 kilometres on it now. I do have some fairly serious trips planned, you know, and maybe that's not the bike to take anymore. mean, seriously, how good is this? But I was supposed to keep those revs under 4,000. It's a bit of a worry, isn't it? This is very flickable. It does not, you know, people say, oh, it's a 200 kilo bike. Does not feel like it at all. Feels very flickable. You know, this is not full on enduro or anything. But, you know, it's, you wouldn't bring there's some ruts here that you wouldn't bring a Commodore down. A fire trail, but just way more flickable than a bigger bike. You know, a month or 2 months ago I took the BMW 900 out for a ride, and you know, look, it's a lovely bike. Truth be told, I'd prefer this. I find it lighter, more flickable. I do need to work on that suspension a bit. It's a bit, gives you a whack, especially on those uphills. Although, mate of mine, it's got a KTM 1090, which he says the suspension on that suffers on those sort of things. So, you know, he said you almost really need to upgrade the suspension there. I think this was this real slippery part I went through before. Yep. See that big log? But this is nice. You feel in control with it, you know. I was going to do a couple of runs of this, but I don't think I need to. I think I've proven to myself, and hopefully you guys, that this is a capable bike. You know, this is not just like a road tour they've glorified to being an off-road bike. This is, it's pretty good. I'm yet to, I had this dilemma. I was thinking about all the trips that I got planned and the likely use of my bike, and I was trying to think, if I kept the Honda Rally, when would I use it? When would I use it? What trip would I take it on in preference to the CFMoto? And I actually couldn't think of one. Not one. And that's when I made the decision to sell the Rally, buy this, and really, for what I sold the Rally for, and then what I was going to spend on it in suspension, etc., I actually bought this and had enough for left over to buy the accessories. So there you go. How good was that? Yeah, yeah, so that's all I'm going to do on the dirt today. I have to be mindful of those revs, and I wasn't looking at the tacho of what I was doing. It satisfied me that this is, you know, on the dirt, very, very good. I do need to just adjust the suspension, but that's not a fault of the bike, that's just a fine tuning, which, you know, pardon me, a lot of bikes, you don't even have that option of fine tuning the suspension. You know, with the fully adjustable suspension you can. So I'll go home, work on that. I think with the Honda, I didn't gel with it. You know, look, it's a good bike, but I find the seat too hard. I found the seating position a little wrong for me. It was underpowered. The suspension was rubbish. The seat was horrible. I don't know if I said that. Whereas this, I just feel it's out of the box. It's really good. It's really good. And look at that display, will you? That is so good. Tells you everything you need to know. And yeah, so if you're thinking about buying one of these bikes, seriously, just do it. You know, you're not going to be disappointed, I'm sure. Anyway, I might leave it at that. I think you guys have heard enough. You know, any questions you think I can answer, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be doing more content on this bike. Alright, thanks for watching. Catch you later.